Hello, my name is Tosca Bruno van Vijwijken and I direct the Transnational NGO Initiative here at the Maxwell School at Syracuse University. And I am undertaking a brief interview with Josephine Oguta, who actually we have interviewed before when you attended our Tngo Leadership Institute in May of 2014. Josephine is the a regional governance advisor in World Vision for East and West Africa, and she's going to tell us more about that. So thank you for allowing us to interview you.
Thank you, Tosca.
A second time. So World Vision, as I've said before, is well known amongst many people, but for those who don't, what is the nature and mission of World Vision?
Well, World Vision is a Christian partnership, international organization, and it works in almost 102 countries. In various countries, we do various things, humanitarian relief, we do development work, but we are mainly child-focused. So in everything that we do, we try to ensure that we have maximum benefit go to the child.
I see.
Yes.
Right. So you're here as a Moynihan Tngo Fellow, which is a program where we host 1 or 2 leaders each year to give them a chance for over a period of 2 weeks to do some applied research with us on an organizational challenge that is that they need to grapple with, but often have a hard time finding time for in their day-to-day work as an NGO practitioner. So tell us a little bit about the particular organizational challenge you are researching here with us.
Well, when this opportunity came up, I thought it would be good to look at board governance within World Vision and in transnational organizations, especially those that have multi-level governance. And in this specific research, I was looking at the role of the board chair in governance effectiveness, and also just more or less corresponding to what my colleague Richard mentioned, in that the work of management has been focused on quite a lot, whereas the area of governance usually is way behind. So just looking at how can we actually ensure that boards begin to add value to the leadership role that they actually have in CEOs, management, and things like that.
Oh, particularly.
So,
I see. And again, for those who don't know World Vision's organizational structure, you have national boards in many, not all countries where you work, but many. And you have an international board, obviously, and they need to also relate to each other, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Right. So how did you personally become interested in working in international NGOs, being a transnational activist?
Oh, well, when I started work, generally I qualified as a lawyer, and generally a sense of justice kind of comes with that. So it's been an area of interest. And the opportunities that came up after I graduated were mainly, you found those who were oppressed were the ones that needed the service more. And so when I did my legal aid work and got the sense of actually working as a lawyer pro bono without payment, then I realized there was quite a bit that one could do to make a difference. However, my career evolving to governance happened because I moved countries, and law is one of those careers that you cannot practice everywhere you go. And so went ahead and qualified as a chartered company secretary, and that ordinarily would push you to blue chip companies. Yet again, the first organizations that I found had challenges were NGOs whose governance were not working effectively. And the first one I worked with was the International Community of Women Living with HIV and AIDS, whose board governance was actually really struggling at that time. And that's when I decided, yes, corporate governance is something that could be done in the NGO sector. And it was an area of commitment, and that's how continuously I've realized that you can make a difference by actually influencing the way organizations are governed. Yes.
It's interesting. I don't know many people in the NGO world who have your expertise. So I'm really very pleased that we have you here. You have so much knowledge in the area of board governance, which often is indeed such a weak area in relative terms in NGOs. So within that area of board governance, let's get a little bit more specific within World Vision. What are some of the core challenges that World Vision is currently grappling with?
Well, World Vision in itself, as I said, is a Christian organization. And in the area of governance, we've specifically defined that the board members should be Christians, and preferably Christian leaders. And therefore, sometimes finding Christian leaders with the very specific skills that you actually need to govern can be a challenge. And it also happens that when you have the good people, they're very busy. So trying to balance our expectation for value addition in governance to the organization, or value addition of governance to the organization, vis-a-vis the quality of composition of board members, is one of those areas we struggle with. Continuously, I must say, we've been blessed to have people who are willing to come and give time to World Vision. Internally, we also struggle with very, should I say, capable leaders. So CEOs also struggling to find, or national directors struggling to find real value from the board members. Once you get this group of very good people around the table, how do they actually add value to what is meaningful to management, besides just commitment to the overall mission of the organization? So those, effectively, we've tried and define a common ground in the area of what does board effectiveness look like. Besides composition, could we start demanding at least specific outputs from board members? Could we also try to make specific demands of systems and structures that management could put in place to help us get this? So a reciprocal role. And it's challenging due to our size generally. There's only so much you can go in and do systematically or incrementally, national office by national office, but we are getting there.
I see.
Yes.
I think you've already spoken a little bit to the next question, but let me ask it anyway. So in the area of board governance and World Vision, how do you know when World Vision is effective in terms of its board governance at the two levels?
Well, at the international level, we have a very specific strategic objective that the organization has defined. And every office, therefore, gets its principle of, if you're doing ministry work or program work, is it child-focused? Is it community-based? Is it Christian in its essence? Then we've got the output of child, we call them, we call them child.
Okay.
Well, so we look at what is the community benefit of the child? And we therefore just have to look at, is every program, are children feeling protected?
I see.
Do children enjoy the right to be heard? Are children actually, should I say, children actually benefiting from the programs that we give? Are they educated for life? And these are some of the things that help us determine at the international level how the strategies are then developed at national level. Now, the role of the board, therefore, comes in where they have to ensure that the national strategy contextualizes what the international strategic objectives have defined in the child outcomes. And child-based outcomes, therefore, determines that if you're doing education, you can contextualize it to your national office, but ensure that you're within the mission. You're also seeing all the benefits that the organization has defined. And that's how we define now the effectiveness of the organization.
Yes, and I know World Vision has a fairly sophisticated outcome-based evaluation system at the organizational level. Yeah, that makes sense. So our final question then maybe is, in the area of board leadership, what leadership skills, both formal and informal skills and profiles, if you will, and experiences, are crucial to be an effective board leader in World Vision at the national or at the international level? What does it mean to be a good leader at the board level in World Vision?
Well, to be a good board leader, I mentioned first and foremost that we do look specifically for Christian leaders in World Vision. That's one. Secondly, we look for specific skills. Considering that you're coming to lead the national director or the CEO of the organization, we therefore try to see leaders who are strategic where they come from. And we also look at very specific skills like legal skills, financial skills, just skills that enable us to provide stewardship overall and can enable the board fulfill its fiduciary role. On the other hand, we've also found there are softer skills that you really sometimes are not able to define until you get people together, and just the ability to work in a diverse organization. I've seen increasingly where you have very good board members, but they've never led someone from a different culture, especially in Africa, where most of our directors are not necessarily always from the West, but sometimes even if they're from another country within the region, it's a different kind of approach to how things are done. So managing and leading in diversity has been one of those skills we look for.
Nice, interesting. Yes. Well, thank you so much for this interview.
You're welcome.